Hack versus Hack, or HVH for short, is a truly unique phenomenon, representing a new format of gameplay within another game, where cheaters compete against other cheaters. While cheats exist in many games, this format is currently popular exclusively in Counter-Strike. Unfortunately, to fully understand what HVH is, one needs to spend a significant amount of time within this subculture. However, for a new audience unfamiliar with HVH, a simple example can provide a basic understanding. Imagine regular and classic Counter-Strike as professional racing, which is strictly regulated, where freedom is limited to the rules. In contrast, HVH is like underground street racing with illegal modifications, where the players themselves set the rules. It's undoubtedly more dangerous, but significantly more interesting due to the added freedom. It sounds intriguing, but what exactly is the secret of this phenomenon? And what led HVH to be perceived as a separate game within a game? That's what we aim to explore today. Every story has a beginning that largely defines its development. HVH is no exception. So to understand the topic, we need to delve slightly into history. We won't dive too deeply into the history of cheats, cheat codes, and game modifications since that's not the topic of this video. Our attention will be solely on the part critically important for further understanding of the formula of the success of HVH. It all started more than 40 years ago. In the 1980s, the gaming industry began to actively develop. It was the era of the first 8-bit computers and arcade machines, a time of discoveries and innovations. But even then, cheating in games was gaining popularity, primarily through the use of cheat codes and special cheat programs. Humans are inclined to seek the easiest and most comfortable path, especially in games. In 1981, the game Wizardry, Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord, a classic ultra-hardcore RPG, was released. 2 months after its release, the first cheat programs for this game were available for $25. These programs significantly simplified gameplay, allowing users to modify character attributes and resurrect heroes at any given moment. Such manipulations undoubtedly altered the gameplay significantly. The game was so challenging that the news of such cheat modifications had a bombshell effect. Soon, it was hard to find a copy of the game without an installed modification. Cheats altered the game files and interfered with their operation, which could also damage the game files, leading to various errors. Due to the large number of users of this cheat modification, the publisher had to compromise and agreed to replace corrupted discs with non-functional games for a new one, though for $5. This situation became so widespread that the publisher issued a press release noting the following: "While it may seem attractive to use these products, we strongly advise against giving in to temptation. It took us over 4 years of meticulous tuning to properly balance wizardry. These products can disrupt the delicate balance and significantly reduce your enjoyment of the game. It's like playing chess with extra queens or poker with all wild cards." Let's remember this moment and move on to the next case because the situation with wizardry wasn't unique. In 1983, Macro Systems released the Great Escape utility for Castle Wolfenstein, which had been released 2 years earlier. For $15, the developers promised to enhance the original game and its levels, adding additional features. This can be considered the first fully featured trainer mod. In the first case, people paid to simplify gameplay, while in the second, they paid to enhance their gaming experience. Sound familiar? These utilities offered modifications of game parameters and increased level loading speeds. It should be noted that cheating in games gained its first widespread popularity thanks to a secret combination of keys, also known as the Konami Code. It popularized cheat codes as a phenomenon. It first appeared in Gradius for the NES console, but became well known among players due to the American version of Contra as the 30 Lives Code. This code can still be found in modern games as an Easter egg. This type of cheating was generally not condemned. The most one could get was sarcastic teasing from friends who could pass a level without additional help. But even then, almost everyone used cheat codes or trainers simply because it wasn't condemned and was readily available. By today's standards, it even reached a humorous point. There was a separate TV show called Cheat, which innocently discussed cheat codes, what they were, how to activate them, and more. There were 174 episodes. Interestingly, genuinely negative attitudes towards cheats began to form with the advent of the first multiplayer online projects. The reason for the outrage is obvious. Cheats in multiplayer games give a very strong advantage over honest players. While cheats in single-player games are merely entertaining, they harm honest players in online projects. This is what led to the current condemnation of any form of cheating. Cheats are only bad because they can ruin another person's gaming experience. However, they can still diversify and modify gameplay, offering a different perspective on the game. That's why people used cheats in the early days of the gaming industry. This historical reference is necessary to remind us what cheats initially were, because today we are witnessing a revival of positive cheating. Why? Because HVH is essentially aimed at playing against other cheaters, while retaining the old spirit. Some might say that ordinary players suffer from HVH, but mostly, this is not the case. The fact is that genuine HVH mainly takes place on special community servers. That's where the HVH elite gathers and plays. It even gets to the point where honest players are kicked from these servers so they don't disrupt the gameplay. Turning on RageBot against honest players is not HVH. It's just as pointless as raging against bots. It has no significant competitive meaning. The truth is, HVH can also occur on official Valve servers. Honest players can encounter ragers, but generally, full rage is only activated against other cheaters. Overall, HVH is exclusively a cheater versus cheater format. Anything else does not belong to this format and is not its idea. HVH embodies the most honest game mode, for which an anti-cheat isn't even needed. Here, every player understands and knows that the opponent uses cheats, so it all comes down to the player's personal skill. Next, we will systematically break down the formula of HVH. Let's recall all the points, including those mentioned earlier, that shape this format. The most critical ingredient is Counter-Strike's openness to modifications. The engine's openness to modders not only made it easier, faster, and better to develop mods, but also significantly simplified the development of cheats. This trend came to CS from Quake and Unreal Tournament. Initially, both Dota and CS were mods for other games. Many Valve employees were involved in modding in some way. Coupled with Valve's reluctance to severely restrict the ability to modify the engine, this provided great opportunities for cheat creation. Essentially, HVH is a game mod based on its bugs and engine nuances. But the most crucial aspect of HVH's success is the gameplay. In 1983, it was already said that uncontrolled modification of a game is comparable to playing chess with extra queens, or poker with all wild cards. This made sense as it led to absurdity, but in the context of HVH, it has a different meaning. The core idea of the game breaks from opposite sides, creating full balance and harmony, transforming the classic game into something new. But what is special about such gameplay? As mentioned earlier, it's about balance. The very idea that both you and your opponent know where everyone is fundamentally changes the gameplay. Add to this entirely new mechanics available only to HVH players, such as backtrack, no spread, rapid fire, wall bangs, and so on. All of this fundamentally changes the gameplay, and players need to keep all of this in mind. Let's break this down with examples. The floor is lava. A cheater has access to wall penetrations that honest players don't. As a result, certain areas on the map become either prohibited or an easy kill spot if the opponent doesn't know the penetrations. The opponent possesses magic. Remember that you can send the enemy back in time, and so can they. Thanks to Backtrack, considering all this, you need to control your movement and monitor enemy movement, catching them on their mistakes. AWP with Negev's fire rate. Thanks to Rapid Fire, which accelerates fire rate, regular rapid fire weapons lose their meaning because any weapon now becomes rapid fire. It might seem like simple rate acceleration, but no. You can set a lower damage on a weapon and, using the firing rate acceleration, shoot 5 bullets with an AWP almost instantly, killing one opponent through several walls or jumping out in the open and getting an ace. There are many such examples, and the list could go on forever. However, it's worth noting that HVH doesn't stand still and constantly evolves and transforms. For example, in 2016, there was one HVH with a specific set of features and mechanics. In 2018, another, and in CS2 yet another. We made a separate video on the history of HVH and exploits. You can watch it on our channel or by clicking the pop-up notification. If you're interested, watch it at your leisure. The links are also in the description. Even engine limitations have benefited gameplay. In some other games, you can simply give yourself immortality or spawn a bullet in an opponent's head. But HVH in Counter-Strike is primarily formed from the server. The server decides how the game will proceed. Cheats need to interact with the server and send it data it can accept. This is due to the cheating countermeasure leading game servers to a state where the server inherently distrusts the client and constantly rechecks everything. This, in turn, can create bugs used in HVH, such as desync. As mentioned in the historical part of the video, players love to diversify their gaming experience. In cheats, this manifests in abundant customized visual aspects. Visuals in cheats are no longer just about bounding box and Champ's colors. They are about radically changing the game's visual perception, starting with lighting and sky on the map, ending with skins and external 3D models for weapons and characters. Considering the radically new visual part of the game and gameplay, the game begins to be perceived completely differently, which attracts many people. Any map can get boring over 5 to 10,000 hours. For example, Mirage was last significantly changed only in 2014, but it can be substantially modified and embellished with a cheat. Change skyboxes, adjust lighting color, alter map shades, and so on. But the cherry on top is the cheat community, which is truly unique. HVH is not just a game with cheats in Counter-Strike. It's literally a whole new world and, you could say, a way of life for many players. It is also separate Discord servers, forums, channels, tournaments, media. It's an actual independent community with its own history, memes, rules, and celebrities. All of this together creates HVH. These factors make this game within a game special and unique. We'll be waiting for your comments below this video. You might point out some important points we missed. Feel free to also share topics you'd like to learn about in future videos. Throughout this video, we've hidden several Easter eggs containing subscription activation codes, and we're starting a giveaway for all commenters. The rules are simple: like the video, subscribe to our channel, and leave a meaningful comment with your Never Lose username at the end of it. Thank you for watching. This has been the Never Lose team. Stay tuned for more insights in our upcoming videos.